What's up, you wonderful people? Last month, I put myself through 5 life hacks, kind of like 5 of the most common ones. So what I wanna do with this video is kind of go through my experience, my main takeaways, and then some of the tips for if you wanna implement any one or all of these into your life, kind of how I got it done. Let's get this thing. Okay, let's first cover the one that I was dreading the most, arguably like the most drastically weird one, cold showers. Just have to start by saying, the cold water in the French Alps is the coldest thing that I have ever felt in my life. First things first, why would you do a cold shower month or a cold shower week? There are a lot of reasons. I don't know all of them. The main one that I know is that it's an immune system booster. But like Matt D'Avella, when he did this challenge, that wasn't the primary reason I wanted to do it. You can ease into it. You can start warm and then go cold. You can just jump right in. The biggest thing I wanted to get out of it was kind of the discipline of doing it, right? Like this is hard and you're doing it. Every time I would get in the shower, it was the worst. You have to really push yourself to just dive in, and that was incredible. That's why I wanted to do it. The main thing that I got out of it was it's a massive test and sort of delayed gratification. How ridiculous is it that I'm choosing the cold water when the hot is right there? Like, there's this certain level of crazy that you have to go through every time you choose cold when hot is available. I have a huge problem with delayed gratification. I like everything to just happen right away, all the good stuff. So to have to delay hot showers for a whole month, it was a massive kind of habit formation of delayed gratification for me, and that really worked. Then about halfway through the month, I had this like small epiphany. 4 minutes into a 5-minute cold shower, you sort of start to feel warm again. And it's like your body is saying like, okay, I feel my skin being cold, but I don't wanna be cold, I wanna be warm, and this like warmth sort of starts to emanate from inside your body. Yeah, I'll explain that more later because it totally became a theme. Cold shower success hacks. What I would do is I do 20 push-ups before I hopped in, because you kind of, like, it doesn't work, but you kind of trick your body into thinking like, no, cold's gonna feel good. The other thing was, and this might sound crazy, I don't know, or maybe everybody does this, but I would just start laughing uncontrollably before I'd get in, because I'd be thinking, this is so stupid, I can't believe I'm doing this again. I just would laugh without fail every time before I just like make the jump into the water. I just start laughing because it was ridiculous, and that seemed to help me. Then once you start feeling it, I'd like to spin around, like I'd spin quite a bit in the beginning of the shower, and then, like I said, you sort of start to get used to it, and then you feel warm, and then you can just kind of sit there and think and breathe. And will I use this in the future? I'll be honest, it's May now, it's like May 6th or something, and I've taken, I think, 4 cold showers this month. It really helps wake you up. Like, if you get out of bed and you gotta get something done, cold shower, bam, like you're ready to roll. I would maybe even go as far as to say better than a cup of coffee. Just, it is a shock to the system, and you get out of that shower and you're like, I can do anything. Cold showers, I think, will be a part of my life for the rest of my life, and I'd highly recommend it. Let's move on. Let's talk about meditation. The why behind meditation for me was that if you looked inside my brain, you would see something that resembles like a 13th century battle between what I want to do and what I need to do. The thought was that if I got into the habit of focusing on my breathing, maybe I could get into the habit of focusing on whatever I wanted to focus on. That was the hypothesis. The way I decided to do it, incorporate it, was a little bit different than like, it wasn't like an hour a day or 30 minutes a day or anything like that. Throughout the day, just like 5 to 10 minute periods where I would sit and refocus and focus on breathing and kind of recenter. And it ended up being much more brief than that. Like sometimes a minute, maybe sometimes 5 minutes, but you know, like while I was working in the midst of the craziness. And even though I think some purists would be like, that's not even meditation, call it whatever it is, for me, it still really helped. It still really made me realize I'm in control. I can think about what I want to think about. Just even if it's one breath, it was really helpful. Lessons learned, it made me feel way more calm in kind of the franticness of life. It really helped me control my temper. Like when I would start to get mad about something, I could more easily shut that down. And I do really think in some small way, it gave me the ability to better focus on what I actually wanted to be focusing on instead of just whatever I was feeling like focusing on at the time. And maybe even more than those things, one of the biggest realizations I had from kind of practicing this for a month is just giving myself permission to do nothing, to disengage, to do nothing, which is just really hard for me. I notice a lot of things and I'm always trying to engage like at all these crazy different levels. And so just the permission to disengage and take a breath and go inside my own head, that was really huge, and that's something I'm gonna carry forward. The hack for success that I experienced is couple meditation with deleting social media off of your phone, all right? Because anytime I would reach for my phone thinking I was gonna go on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, I would be like, oh, I don't have those apps. And then I would take a breath or a bunch of breaths, do a little meditation. A hack, if you don't feel like coupling it with removing social media from your phone, get an app like Headspace. In terms of future use, I'm definitely gonna continue to do what I did last month, like little breaths or 10 breaths or 20 breaths or just 5 minutes throughout the whole day. I'm gonna keep doing that, but I also am gonna download an app and really do 30-minute intervals, at least for a month, because I wanna see what that's like. I wanna see kind of the experience that I have with that. Let's move on. Let's talk about deleting all the social media apps off of my phone for an entire month, even though I make 100% of my living based off of social media. Why? Is the same reason why I shouldn't be recording right here. It's because there is so much noise in the world. It is so hard to detach, to disengage. So a couple caveats. I didn't delete YouTube or Creator Studio off of my phone, so I still use those for the entire month. And then I downloaded Instagram for the Moment Invitational so I could story that whole event. Other than that, they weren't on my phone, and it was a massive breath of fresh air. I mean, I didn't have Instagram on my phone when I went to the French Alps with Red Bull. Like, that was crazy. That was absolutely crazy. But it was also amazing. Just like being in the experience, being with the people, snowboarding with Ben, like all of the things that were happening. I'm the type of person when I have 2 idle seconds, I will grab my phone and open up Twitter or Instagram. Like that, it's that quick for me. And to not have that sort of crutch was just incredible. On the flip side, it was hard. You know, Amber really she wanted to know what was happening. Like she would have loved to have seen stories from that whole time. And that's the great thing about social, right? Is sharing experiences and having a community with you all the time, even though they're not with you all the time. I think the main thing that I learned is I'm too quick on the draw to just go into social media and engage with that community. And at the same time, the community that we have is a big part of my life, like people that I love and that I want to be around, even though it's only online. So I just need to do a better job of kind of moderating how fast I am to turn there, and make sure that I'm not disengaging from my surroundings and from the people that I'm with while still engaging hard in this community. Hacks for success, just delete them. Just bam. They're just gone. Like, and don't download them again unless you have a specific reason for doing it. Do it for a time and then get back on and be more intentional about it. And then if you start finding yourself slipping into all the bad habits, then delete them again and try it again. The other hack that I would say is a lot of times you're just looking for some sort of connection. So call a friend, FaceTime with a friend, send a video message to a friend. Like, I don't know, maybe this is too much cheating for you, but getting one-on-one connection if you're missing that. But if it's just the boredom, like, great, sit and be bored, embrace the boredom, maybe take a couple breaths. I'm gonna be more intentional. Moderation is hard for me, which I'm gonna talk about when it comes to sweets, but I'm gonna be more intentional about not just going there as a crutch. All right, let's talk about sugar. I love gummy bears. What am I talking about? Why? Why would you get rid of sweets? There's a lot of reasons. You probably know all the reasons if you're thinking about it. Just something that I'm that highly addicted to that releases that much dopamine into my brain when it touches my tongue. I was like, yeah, that's gotta go, all right? That's gotta go. That was the why for me. I was excited about that. The experience, it's hard for the first 3 days and then you get pretty used to it. But by the end, you just haven't tasted that taste in a really long time. And that's weird. Like, that was very weird. Lesson learned from this, and this kind of goes into all of the ones that I did last month in like a very revelation sort of way, was that I loved not needing something external to feel happy, to feel a certain way. I loved having to, whether you call it chemically dopamine or whether you just talk about mood or whatever, however you want to talk about it, I loved needing to bring that from inside out. So I think the biggest lesson learned is I do have it inside of me. I don't need sugar to feel happy. And that might sound simple, but like, I don't know, it seemed profound to me. This hack that I'm about to give you for cutting sugar out, it's game changer. It's almonds. Almonds are the trick to no sweets. Anytime you feel that sweet tooth tingling thing, throw some almonds in there, because they're not great. They're not super addictive. You get tired of them quick, which is the point, and then you're done. And you're like, well, I guess I'll drink some water or something. That's the hack, that's the only one you need. Just cut sugar out this month, do it. Future use, yes. I am horrible at moderation. So like, I've gone days without eating before. I've gone now a month without sweets, a month without a lot of this stuff. But it's easier for me because it's like all or nothing. What's gonna be hard for me, and what, especially when it comes to sweets, is like one handful of gummy bears is fine, the entire bag is not. I just want to, in moderation, enjoy those sweets. And then yeah, I think the whole deprivation thing is gonna work, like maybe weeks at a time, maybe months at a time again in the future, because I really liked not having to rely on sweets to like feel happy. And maybe that's weird, I don't know. I don't know if that's weird or not. Last but not least, let's talk about waking up at 5 a.m. I failed at this one. I do have to say, I still feel like I have the authority to speak to this, because last year I woke up between 3:30 and 5, like for, I don't know, 6 months. Why would you want to wake up early? For me, the main reason to wake up early is to get something done. That is almost the only reason. If you don't have anything to do, just go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like, there needs to be a point to waking up early. At least that's how it works in my mind. It's very practical. It's a very practical why. You want to get stuff done, wake up early. Speaking of lessons learned from last year, what I found was in the morning, I would make fantastic decisions. Like, my head was clear. Sometimes I need some coffee, sometimes I need, I mean, honestly, a cold shower would be perfect. Something to just get a jump start, but once you get it and kind of get into the zone of whatever the purpose of you waking up that early is, you're gonna do a better job at that time of day than I think almost any other time of day. Maybe that's not true for night owls, but I'm pretty sure science proved that it was, so sorry. And that's really the hack to it as well. You need something to do. If I would have incorporated working out into this last month, like if I would have added a 6th life hack to the month, then I probably would have been very successful, because I would have worked out at 5:15 every day, and I would have had a reason for getting up, and then that all would have made sense in my brain. The other hack for this, and it literally worked every single day for me last year, is the 5-second rule from Mel Robbins, which is an entire book. But to sum it up, your alarm goes off, you turn off your alarm, you don't want to get out of bed, you're not gonna get out of bed, and then you say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you sit up, and then you stand up, and then you like walk somewhere else. You count down, and then you physically move. It works for most everything in life, but definitely for getting out of bed, waking up early. Future use, I definitely will use this. When I have stuff to do, I love waking up early to get it done because I've done it so often in my life before, and I know that it works for me. That's it, that's all. I 100% recommend trying any or all of these at the same time, or like do them individually, whatever you gotta do, for all of the reasons that I've stated above or before. But more than all of those, just so you realize how much you have inside of you, how much value you intrinsically have in there, power, action, like happiness, everything that's inside of you. When you take the outside stuff away, it brings out what's inside, and I want that for you. Hit subscribe if you like it. See ya. Of course I didn't actually throw them away. I waited until May to shoot the whole sequence and then just took them out and ate them.